Let's take a look at an open D chord, this one right here. We have 4 strings, the 4 first strings here, and the root is on the 4th string open. That's a D. So that tells you that any musical element that has its root on the 4th string will fit that D chord. Almost any. I'll come back to that in a few seconds. But if we look at that D shape, we have the root on the 4th string. The chord happens on the right side of that root. So if I play something like this right here, I'm going to play 4 strings, the first 4 strings, frets 5, 7, 8, and 5. That chord fits the D shape because the root is on the 4th string and the chord happens on the right side, just like D. So you might ask, what about a musical concept that has its root on the 4th string, but happens on the left side of that root? Well, let's take a look. Let's say, for example, we have an idea that goes something like this. Okay, my root is on the 4th string, 7th fret in this case, and the idea happens on the left side of that root. Played something kind of like that. Well, what chord shape would that fit? Because the root is on the 4th string. Well, that would actually fit the E shape. Why? Because that root on the 4th string, 7th fret, is the octave of this note right here, which is on the 6th string, 5th fret. And we already have a shape for that. We already have a shape that has its root on the low E string and happens on the right side, and that's the E shape. So this idea really fits the E shape because even though I'm starting with a root on the 4th string, that root is also found an octave lower on the low E string 5th fret, and that happens to fit the same zone here of the fretboard, and that zone with the root on the low E string happening on the right side is for the E shape. So really, I promise you that any musical element can fit one of these 5 shapes. It's really almost like magic. It's awesome once you start to see that. Now, yes, it's true that when you're actually playing and let's say you have something like this going on, that covers a lot of different areas of the fretboard. We're just navigating through the shapes. So why is it important to know this? Why is it important to be able to place any concept on one of these 5 shapes? That's because it's going to help you target the right notes. It's going to help you improvise over any chord progression without having to memorize tons of scales. You're just going with the different chord shapes. And it's also going to help you have a clear mind when you're approaching improvisation and not stress out about what am I going to play next. You're just following the chords. It's always going to work. And that's what we're going to study in the next few segments.